Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're going to be diving into this lecture by H. Radhanath Swami on the essential qualities of a Vaishnava.
Oh,
It's
nice.
a really fascinating talk, and I'm really looking forward to kind of breaking it down with you and seeing how we can apply some of these teachings to our own lives.
Yeah, I'm excited to dig in. H. Radhanath Swami, he always has such a way of making these ancient teachings feel so relevant.
Totally, he does, and he starts off by talking about pilgrimage, which is really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
But but kind of with a twist.
Okay.
He's saying that it's not just about visiting these physical holy sites,
Right.
but that any place can actually become a holy place
Hmm.
through the presence of devoted individuals.
I like that. Yeah, it's about recognizing the sacredness, I guess, in the people themselves, not just the places.
Exactly. Yeah, and he gives this great example of Bhakti Charu Maharaja, whose dedication to spreading Krishna consciousness really transformed every place he went into a spiritually charged environment.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like he carried that holiness with him and it radiated outwards wherever he went.
It's true. Yeah, it's a beautiful image, and it really kind of leads into this idea of seeking out and learning from these individuals.
Yeah.
Like almost like a modern day pilgrimage.
Right. Instead of going to a physical location,
Yeah.
you're going to the presence of someone
Hmm.
who embodies those principles.
Exactly. Yeah, it's about finding those living examples, the
Hmm.
people who are walking the walk.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, okay, now let's talk about what it actually means to be a Vaishnava like.
Yeah.
Is it just believing that Vishnu is supreme?
Well, that's part of it, but it goes so much deeper than that, right?
Yeah.
And H. Radhanath Swami, he really emphasizes the importance of that title of das, or dasi meaning servant.
Hmm.
It's not just a label, it's an aspiration, like
Yeah.
a lifelong commitment to becoming a true servant of Krishna.
It's choosing a path, really.
It is. Yeah, it's a way of life that's defined by that service and devotion.
Yeah. And that dedication manifests in specific qualities.
Yep.
The first of which that H. Radhanath Swami highlights is simplicity.
Simplicity, okay.
He even calls it the cornerstone of devotion.
Wow, so it sounds pretty important.
Yeah, and he actually mentions that it's defined by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of a big deal.
Simplicity. Okay, it sounds straightforward enough,
Yeah.
but I have a feeling there's more to it than meets the eye.
Oh, definitely. There's a lot of nuance there. And H. Radhanath Swami, he really delves into the different facets of simplicity,
Okay.
using these vivid examples from Scripture.
I like that.
He tells the story of Gautam Rishi initiating the son of a prostitute
Really?
because of the young man's honesty.
Wow, that's a story that really challenges, our assumptions about lineage and spiritual purity.
Exactly.
It suggests that true worthiness isn't determined by social standing, but by the purity of one's heart.
Yeah, it's a powerful message. And then he goes on to share the story of Damodar Pandit chastising Lord Chaitanya, even
Wow.
reminding him, even the divine, to be mindful of public perception.
Interesting.
And what's really striking about that story is Damodar Pandit's motivation. He wasn't being critical for personal gain.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
it was purely out of concern for Lord Chaitanya's reputation and the integrity of their teachings.
So it seems that simplicity also encompasses that sincerity and acting for the greater good, even when it means speaking truth to power,
Absolutely.
whether that power resides in a person or in societal expectations.
Mm-hmm.
So is there anything else that kind of falls under this umbrella of simplicity?
Well, he also gives the example of Queen Kunti
Okay.
and her unwavering faith.
Right.
She accepted scripture without overcomplicating things,
Okay.
even when it seemed illogical from a worldly perspective.
So it's not about blind faith,
No, not at all.
but about approaching these spiritual teachings with a receptive heart.
Yes, trusting in that wisdom that's been passed down through generations.
It makes you think about how we approach knowledge and learning in our own lives. Do we overcomplicate things?
Right.
Or are we open to new ideas?
That's such a great question.
And it leads into another aspect of simplicity that he highlights,
Right.
which is this contrast between the Gopis' simple devotion and the learned scholar Uddhava.
Oh, yeah.
Despite his sophistication, Uddhava was in a way further from Krishna than the Gopis,
Right.
who loved Krishna with this natural and unpretentious devotion.
Yeah, it's about being genuine.
Right.
Stripping away those layers of pretense and societal expectations.
Yeah.
And just revealing the pure essence of your being.
It must be so freeing in a way
It is.
to just be yourself without the need to impress or conform.
Yeah.
It really makes you wonder, How much of our energy is spent on trying to fit into these molds that society creates for us.
Right?
I can see how letting go of that could lead to a deeper connection,
Totally.
with our true selves and with something greater.
Yeah. And, speaking of letting go, H.H. Radhanath Swami also brings up this really poignant story about Kolavecha Sridhar,
Oh, yeah.
this banana leaf seller who found true wealth in his devotion, even though he was living in poverty.
Right. It's a good reminder that happiness comes from within.
Exactly.
And it ties back into that concept of simplicity, doesn't it?
It does.
If we can let go of our attachment to material things,
Yeah,
we can create space for something much more fulfilling.
absolutely. And that leads us perfectly into the second essential quality that H.H. Radhanath Swami discusses,
Okay.
which is titiksha,
Katika, okay.
which means forbearance or tolerance.
Tolerance. Okay, so that's definitely a quality we need in today's world.
For sure.
But in the context of Vaishnavism, what does it really mean?
Right.
How does it tie into spiritual growth?
Well, H.H. Radhanath Swami explains that titiksha is about staying the course
Okay.
on your spiritual journey, even when things get tough.
Right.
It's about not letting the ups and downs of life derail your progress,
So it's not about passively accepting whatever comes your way. Right.
but more about facing those challenges with strength and resilience.
Exactly like a spiritual grit,
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's closely connected to forgiveness, too.
Okay.
He really emphasizes that being able to forgive offenses, to let go of grudges and resentment,
Yeah,
that's an essential aspect of cultivating true tolerance.
that makes a lot of sense. Holding on to all that anger and bitterness,
Mm.
it can really weigh us down,
It does.
make us cynical.
Yeah.
Forgiveness feels lighter, more freeing.
Yeah,
Allows us to move on and keep our focus on what really matters.
exactly. And to illustrate the power of titiksha,
Okay.
he shares some pretty incredible examples, from his own life and the life of Srila Prabhupada.
Oh, wow.
He talks about his experience cooking in freezing temperatures at New Vrindavan
Oh, wow.
with no heat other than like a smoky fire,
Oh, my God.
just chopping wood and enduring the cold day after day.
It's hard to even imagine, enduring those conditions.
Yeah. Especially while trying to prepare food for a community.
Yeah,
It really makes you appreciate the level of commitment and sacrifice involved.
for sure. And then there's Srila Prabhupada,
Right.
whose unwavering dedication to spreading Krishna consciousness is just
Yeah.
like a testament to titiksha,
Yeah.
seasickness, difficult living conditions, social opposition.
Wow.
He faced it all
He did.
with incredible resilience,
And never wavered.
never wavered in his mission.
It's inspiring to hear about those who've walked this path before us
It is.
and faced those challenges with grace and determination.
Yeah,
It puts our own day-to-day struggles into perspective, doesn't it?
it really does.
And it prompts us to ask ourselves some important questions, too.
Yeah, like how do we handle setbacks in our own lives?
Right.
Can we maintain our focus and dedication when things get uncomfortable or when we face criticism?
Yeah. Those are some tough questions to ponder.
They are.
I think it's easy to be enthusiastic when things are going well, but it's those difficult moments that really test our commitment
Totally, yeah.
to anything, whether it's a spiritual path or even just a personal goal.
Yeah, it's like the difference between reading about climbing a mountain and actually doing it.
Right.
The real test comes when you're out there on the trail facing the elements
Exactly.
and pushing past your own limits.
And that's where that practice of titiksha comes in.
Right.
That inner resilience.
Yeah.
It's about developing that inner strength that allows you to keep moving forward, even when you'd rather just give up.
Yeah, and like we were saying before, forgiveness plays such a huge role in that process.
Oh, it's essential.
If we're holding on to all those grudges and resentment, it's like carrying extra weight,
Yeah,
on that climb.
totally.
It's going to make the journey that much harder.
Yeah, it weighs you down emotionally and spiritually.
Forgiveness allows us to lighten that load.
For sure. It frees up your energy so you can focus on what really matters.
Your spiritual growth and your connection with the divine.
And it strikes me that simplicity and tolerance, these two qualities we've been talking about today, they're almost like two sides of the same coin.
Now that you mention it, I can totally see that connection.
Yeah.
Simplicity helps you declutter your inner world.
Right.
Let go of all those unnecessary complexities that weigh you down.
And then tolerance gives you the strength to navigate that outer world,
Right.
to face those complexities with a calm and steady heart.
They complement each other so well.
They do. It's like simplicity creates that space for tolerance to really flourish.
Yeah, I like that.
And when we cultivate both of these qualities, it creates this powerful foundation,
It
for spiritual growth.
Yeah, and I appreciate that H.H. Radhanath Swami doesn't just present these as like these abstract concepts.
Right.
He really emphasizes the importance of putting them into practice.
He does. Yeah, it's not enough to just understand them intellectually. We have to embody them.
Yeah, let them guide our thoughts, our words, our actions.
So as we're wrapping up this deep dive,
Yeah.
what's like the one key takeaway we want our listeners to walk away with?
Oh, that's a good question.
What can they do to start cultivating these qualities in their own lives?
I think the most important thing is to start small.
Okay.
Like what's one simple step you can take today to embrace simplicity or to practice tolerance?
Yeah.
Maybe it's simplifying your schedule.
Okay.
Maybe it's letting go of a grudge you've been holding on to.
Mm-hmm.
Or just like being more present and patient
Yeah.
in your interactions with
Well,
others.
I love that it's not about making these huge, drastic changes overnight.
Right.
It's those small, intentional steps
Exactly.
that over time lead to real transformation.
And remember, every journey begins with a single step.
Well said. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the qualities of a Vaishnav.
Yeah, this was great.
We hope you found it insightful, and until next time, keep seeking, keep learning, and keep diving deep.